Thank you to all my channel members, including my fan appreciation level members and my contributor level members, for helping support the YouTube channel. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my book review of the book Star Wars: The Clone Wars, No Prisoners. This is a tie-in book for the Clone Wars TV show. It is very short. It's only about 255 pages. It is written by Karen Traviss, who's most famous for the Republic Commando and Imperial Commando books. She also wrote some of the Legacy of the Force books, and she wrote 2 Clone Wars books. So she wrote 10 books for the EU, and I have read 9 of them. Now, this is my 9th one, so I'm almost done with her books. And I've never been, the biggest fan of Karen Travis's. There were some Republic Commando books I liked. I didn't particularly love her Legacy of the Force books or some of the other Republic Commando and Imperial Commando books. But I went into this hoping I would enjoy it. Some of my friends online said they really liked this one, and so I was excited to jump into it. And since it was really short, I was like, I can read this in one sitting, which I did, literally in one sitting, because I was on a bus, and we were going from Columbus, Georgia, down to Orlando. So it was like a 6-hour drive. I had nothing else to do in the bus, so I just read some books. And this one, I was able to read it straight through. And what I'll say is that the first half of this book is great. I loved it. The second half of the book, I didn't love it as much. So the first half of this book is very much setup and a lot of character work. You get to see, of course, Ahsoka is a leading character here, Rex is a leading character, but you also get to see Gilad Pellaeon. Yes, that is Admiral Pellaeon before he was an admiral, back when he was just a captain. Gilad Pellaeon in the Republic fleet. He is a captain of a ship, and Ahsoka and Rex end up getting assigned to his ship when Anakin wants to go have some alone time with Padme. And it is written very cleverly that the author, she tries to keep it PG, but we know what's going on. The adults know what's going on. Yes, Ahsoka and Rex are assigned to Gilad Pellaeon's ship, and Pellaeon's ship is basically picks up a distress call from this planet that is basically being overrun by the separatists. There's a rebellion going on. They're overthrowing the Republic leadership, putting on Imperial leadership, and there is a woman who is the a spy, and she is kind of also the love interest of Pellaeon. And she basically says, "Hey, can you get me out of here?" And so Pellaeon and the crew go to try to go rescue her. And so the first half of the book is all that setup, and I thought it was great. You really understand the character of Pellaeon, his struggles. He really explains where he ends up well later on, in the timeline. It really, connects to all Tim Zahn stuff excellently. So I really liked the stuff with Pellaeon here. Also, Ahsoka deals with some interesting stuff. She has to have someone who's a very different commander in charge of her, that being Pellaeon. And of course, Captain Rex is just trying to get, some breathing time because he's in charge of Ahsoka all the time at this point. This is set very early on in the Clone Wars. And then you have Callista from the Callista trilogy, which is an official trilogy, but it's 2 Barbara Hambly books with a Kevin J. Anderson book meshed in between. You have, I think it's Children of the Jedi, and then you have Darksaber, and then you have Planet of Twilight. I think that's the order. Anyway, Callista shows up in this book, and it's very jarring because, it's a Clone Wars tie-in book, and it's very weird to have references to the Callista trilogy because it was not received well at all. And so I was very interested in her storyline here, and I thought that, her... The idea of her and the other Jedi there who are having romantic relationships, and not necessarily romantic, but they're having families. That's very different than the way the Jedi normally are portrayed. And there's discussion about, maybe if the Jedi allowed them, maybe they could allow Anakin, and they operate kind of outside the bounds of the Jedi, and where Yoda is wrong about this stuff. And what it actually does is a couple of things. One is it kind of explains timeline discrepancies from the Callista trilogy, but what it also does is it really connects this idea of attachment from the way the EU handled the attachment, the way the movies handle the attachment, and how the Clone Wars handle the attachment idea for the Jedi. So I thought that was very clever. And the interactions between Ahsoka and Callista, and Ahsoka and the other Jedi present, I thought was just all really great. So as I said, and also the stuff with Anakin and Padme, really good. I thought that they had some really cute scenes that, of course, very much felt like it was coming straight out of the Clone Wars show. Then you have the second half of this book, which is pretty much just action. You know, they go down to the planet, they have to go get the spy out of there, and all of that just felt like generic action. None of it felt special. None of it was particularly memorable. None of it, like, hooked me. All of it just felt like, all right, we have to have some action in here because it's a Star Wars book and we got to have some action. And I was like, no, you don't. Let's just write the action off page. Let's just focus on the character stuff because that's what I was really interested in. And sometimes I love action in my books. Sometimes I love it, but it's just not the way Karen Traviss writes it. So if the book had been off the first half, the first 130 pages, it would have been such a high rating. And then it just kind of dipped down a lot because of the second half. So I'm going to give it like a 6 out of 10. It's not a bad book, but I think that the action in the second half of the book is really, really weak. But the story in the first half is, I think, at least worth it. I am a little bit miffed that I can only ever find this in trade paperback because I can't ever find this in mass market, which is how they did in the original print run of the EU. They did the whole EU in hardcover and mass. Oh, well, so I should say all the EU books got mass markets just about, and then most of them got hardcovers. But this one, it's a trade paperback, and I've never seen a mass market of this book. And I'm like, why? Why is that? Anyway, but I have it now, and I've read it. So that is my review of Star Wars, The Clone Wars, No Prisoners. If you've read this book, let me know. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? What do you think of Karen Traviss' writing? My last Karen Traviss book is the Clone Wars novelization, so let's see how I feel about that one. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.